Lady Bear Legacy on Z27.
Welcome to Lady Bear Legacy with head coach Amaka Kugel-Hamilton. I'm your host, Matt Vereen. And coach, another pair of wins and pretty dominant. Would you say this was probably the most complete basketball in a week that we've seen from this team?
I would think so. I mean, Friday for sure was our most complete game on both sides of the ball. I thought that we were just exceptional in all areas. Sunday, we had some up and downs, but it was a good game for us. I mean, Illinois State came out and they really competed. So for us to kind of weather the storm and play through some adversity in that game, I was really proud of us.
You mentioned adversity. After the SIU lost a couple weeks, you're already back alone on top of the Valley. Just what does it say that your team was able to respond so positively to that experience against the Salukis?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we needed that loss, to be honest. I mean, I hate that it's on our record, but I just think that we were a little too complacent at that point in time. And it was a wake-up call. It was anybody in this conference can beat you on any given day. So we got to prepare better, and we have to, come in there with more confidence, more competitiveness, and, continue to be aggressive. And I just think that when we had that loss, it was, everybody's eyes were wide open, and it took us a second to get going. But like now, I think we're just kind of trending up, and everybody's focused on the prize and wants to cut down some nets at the end of the season. It's
your only loss on the conference record so far. You've reached the halfway point of the Valley play. You've seen everyone. Just what have you liked kind of in general from the team? You mentioned they're trending in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we are, we're sharing the ball really well. I mean, we had 22 assists last game. That's huge. Our turnovers are coming down. We still kind of have, up and downs with that, but they're lower than they have been. And, I just think how aggressive we are on the defensive end. We're giving some people some fits, and, we got to be able to take out the other team's go-to players and just have each other's back on the defensive end, and I like that. We've always been kind of a high-powered offense, but we are having more people score, off the bench, and we have more production. We have, 28 points off the bench here, 30 points off the bench here. So I like our production off the bench, but defensively, I think, is where we're growing the most.
Well, let's break down how the week went, starting with Game 1. The Lady Bears hosting the Bradley Braves last Friday, and the Braves entered this with a perfect Valley record. But what a week it was for Bryce Caleb. Early on, 5 minutes in, she's going to hit a three for a three-point lead for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, Bryce was huge this weekend on both sides of the ball. She was just a monster.
And a minute later, Sydney Wilson getting in on the action as well. She's going to finish an and one here with the foul to keep that lead at 3.
And that was a huge spark for us. I mean, I think everybody was up yelling on that one.
Second quarter, Jasmine Franklin as well showing some of that physicality here, overpowering a defender.
Yeah, I mean, we just wanted to be a force in the paint on both sides, and I think we did that.
And later in the quarter, Wilson going to strike again, this time from range. So you take a commanding lead up 32-16.
Yeah, we wanted to make a statement with this game, and we wanted to give our fans a show, and I think we did that.
And you finished the quarter in the same style, minute left, Ruffridge from distance.
She's been playing great. I mean, she's just coming in, hitting shots, and playing really confident.
And then Caleb again in the closing seconds, getting a 3 of her own, and you're up 20.
Yeah, we didn't expect to be up 20 at half, but, it was a great place to be.
And from there, you didn't let up in the second half. Willard hitting from 3 in the third for a 68-35 lead. But y'all just kept the foot on the gas in this one.
We really did, and just multiple people contributed, and that's what's going to make us make a deep run.
A truly dominant 90-56 win over the Braves in the end. Let's go ahead and take a deeper look with the final stats presented by Houlihan's. And, Coach, it's really hard to pick which category y'all did better in. We'll start with shooting. You got 45% overall and 40% from 3, both pretty good.
Huge numbers there. I mean, obviously our numbers are just starting to climb back up, and we're doing a good job. I mean, even the free throw line, we were really good from there, 80%. And, I just liked our attention to detail on both ends of the ball. I mean, 43 rebounds. I mean, we just had a really complete game.
And more than just the rebounds as well, and more than the shooting, he gets 16 assists to 6 as well.
Yeah. I mean, 6 turnovers. I mean, that's season low for turnovers, and that's awesome. I mean, the way that we played, especially in that game, how fast-paced we played, to come out with 6 turnovers shows tremendous growth from our players.
Well, you mentioned the turnovers. I mean, it's got to feel really good. I know it's something I've griped on in the past, so definitely it's been trending in the right direction. We're going to take another break, but next up we'll take a look at the Illinois State game. But first, here's a look at some recent scores from around the conference.
All these people, and not a nacho fry in sight.
If Taco Bell won't keep nacho fries on the menu, we win. Let's go get that cheese.
Mexican spices, they changed you!
What? You scared of a little flavor?
Nacho fries are back. It's over!
We just getting started.
I'm Randy Diaz, mayor of Seltzer, Pennsylvania. If you love Bud Light like me, you'll love Bud Light Seltzer. It's a hard seltzer from Bud Light. It comes in 4 flavors and tastes great. Bud Light Seltzer. It's unquestionably good. If you don't love Bud Light, you'll love Bud Light Seltzer. It's not Bud Light, it's hard seltzer. It comes in 4 flavors and tastes great. Bud Light Seltzer. It's unquestionably good. Questions? Call us now.
What does it mean to be more than your banker? At the Bank of Missouri, it means seeing beyond the walls of the bank, beyond loans and checking accounts, to goals and dreams, to meeting you in the community and living alongside you. Because we know in order to serve you best, it's about being more than your banker. It's about being friends and neighbors. Together, we live well and bank well.
Take the journey. See the wild. Share the wonder. Discover the wonders of wildlife. National Museum and Aquarium. Voted America's best aquarium. Next to the granddaddy of all outdoor stores. Bass Pro Shops national headquarters in Springfield, Missouri, USA.
Welcome back. We've gone through the win over Bradley, obviously a huge win over what was the top team in the Valley. Was there any difficulty refocusing the team into Sunday's game with Illinois State, considering just how exciting and big that win on Friday was?
No, because, again, I think we've matured some, and we want to keep winning. You know, we want to control our own destiny. So I don't necessarily think, you know, it was hard to focus us in. I think, you know, there was also some revenge with the Illinois State game, because last year, obviously, you know, Illinois State beat us at home, and we could have had a conference regular season title tied with Drake. But so there was a little bit of revenge there, and we really wanted to win that game. Also, we're trying to be undefeated at home, and I mean, we're doing a good job of that so far. So we just have so many goals that we're trying to get. It wasn't too much motivation. It was just they were kind of locked in, just like what is the game plan? What do we need to do to be successful?
Well, let's break down how that Sunday matchup went with the Redbirds. A lot of the opposition's colors in JQH Arena on Super Bowl Sunday, but I'm pretty sure they were mostly pulling for you, Coach. And Maya Benhar gave them a show in the first quarter with 2 3-pointers pretty early on.
Yeah, I mean, we started out pretty well in that game, shooting it from behind the arc.
And then still in the first, she's going to get it done the other end, gets a steal, and ends up getting the finish on the other side.
Yeah, Maya was, honestly, Maya was just a spark. I don't know. I mean, she just finally started getting back into their confident role, and I was really pleased to see that.
You're up 23-16 after one. Second quarter, Chessman Franklin showing some great effort and somehow finding Willard for the 3.
That was a huge play, and she knocked it down, and I mean, the place erupted on that one, so that was awesome.
You're in control most of the way until the third. Redbirds closed this lead to just 1 point.
Yeah, I mean, Illinois State put up a good fight. I mean, honestly, they were really gritty and physical.
So was Jasmine Franklin, though. Settled in the fourth. She gets the and one basket there 2 minutes in. And then here, Bryce Caleb, Colin Bank.
Yeah. I think we had a couple bank shots in this game, didn't we? I think we had another one from, I don't remember exactly who it was, but we were happy the bank was open.
Yeah. Friendly boards at JQH Arena. Hard-fought game by both sides, but fourth quarter leads you to an 87-74 win. We're going to go ahead and take a deeper look at the Illinois State game with the Houlihan's final stats. And once again, the shooting numbers are great, Coach, especially going a perfect 15 for 15 from the free throw line.
Yeah, that was huge. I mean, because, you know, Illinois State was they were kind of rallying and, you know, making some plays and going on some runs. So we were able to get downhill and then convert those free throws, and that was huge, because if we missed some of those free throws, it could have been a way closer game.
And again, both rebound and assist numbers are pretty good, too. 38 boards, 22 assists.
Yeah, we got to keep that category up. I think, you know, if we can continue to out-rebound teams, then, you know, it just puts us at an advantage. And I just liked how we shot it, you know, shot the ball. In the first half, it was a little iffy in the first half, but we got it going. But 47% from the 3 is excellent, and 54% from the field is even better.
And one stat that doesn't show on here, despite how close it got and how well the Redbirds played, your team held strong and led 37 to 40 minutes. Just what does that say about just, you know, battling through adversity for your team?
I mean, it's huge, and like I said, they were a gritty team and tough team, and they fought back, and we just never let them really take that lead. And you know, I just think that, you know, we have to play with that confidence like we have been here before, because last year they did. We went pretty far. So you know, there's something to say for experience in that area, but also just growth throughout the season. And I think in the first 5 games of conference, we weren't really doing that. You know, we weren't really, you know, punching teams and really playing with that intensity and that urgency. And now I see it. I see it from everybody on the court, and everybody's really, really hungry to win a championship. So it's just maturity, you know. And like I said, we need to be playing our best basketball in February. I think we're pretty close to playing our best basketball, but, you know, now we got to go on the road and prove that.
Well, that wraps up the games. Coming up next, Coach and I will do a little chalk talk. But first, here's a look at the Missouri Valley standings.
Lady Bears basketball, sponsored by Bass Pro Shops. Bud Light. Taco Bell. And Midwest Ford Dealers.
This is the Chevy Silverado with the world's first invisible trailer.
Invisible trailer?
Hop in. Silverado offers an optional technology package with up to 15 different views, including one enhanced view that makes your trailer appear invisible.
Wow.
That's pretty sweet. Cool.
Where's the trailer though?
Get 0% financing for 72 months on all 2020 Silverado 1500 Crew Cab pickups. Plus, eligible GM card members get $1,000 in bonus earnings. That's on top of most other offers. See your Chevy dealers of the Ozarks.
Beautiful, spacious skies. Purple mountains and amber waves. For more than 70 years, Shelter Insurance has protected families as they've lived, laughed, and loved all of life's beauty. For your auto, home, and life, find an agent at shelterinsurance.com.
After 40 years on the water, Tracker Off-Road brings quality and value to the land. This is the Tracker 800 SX. It's not afraid of hard work. It's not afraid of the roughest ground. It's not afraid of a heavy load. And it's not afraid of being very, very quiet. A breakthrough American value starting at $11,399 plus freight. The Tracker 800 SX does it all.
Welcome back to Lady Bears Legacy. It's time for another Chalk Talk segment as we break down a particular part of this Missouri State team. And Coach, we've usually been talking about one play, but we're going to change that up a bit. Bryce Caleb chalked up 8 assists with 0 turnovers against Illinois State. She's the first Lady Bear to do that since 2010. 4 of those came in crunch time of the fourth quarter. So we want to kind of give each of those some attention. Pretty much all coming in quick transition. First up, just 30 seconds into the fourth quarter, she's going to pick out Will, who drives inside for a quick 2.
Yeah, Bryce is doing a good job for us. I mean, she's playing a lot more point guard than she has played and learning to be a facilitator. So you can see what she's dribbling with her head up. She finds Willie in the corner here, which is part of our transition break. Willie knocks it down.
Next one's just 20 seconds later, again finding Willard, this time inside.
Yep, again, look at her head up while she's dribbling. She knows, and her and Willie they work well together. If Willie has a smaller player on her, she just dribbles over to the side and sees her, you know, her mismatch, and Willie does what she does.
Yeah, nice jump shot there. Next, we go ahead a few minutes. A similar situation, this time a tough bounce pass to Sydney Wilson.
Yeah, and I liked how she looked away on this one because she was kind of, everybody thought she was looking at Willie, but then she saw Wilson in there with a good seal and just bounced it in. So she's doing a good job of seeing the floor.
And finally, her 4th assist of the fourth quarter comes on the quick inbound to Alexa Willard.
Yep, and the key of being a great inbounder is staying calm. If you can see when she has the ball here, she's calm, she's looking things away, and then she finds Willie on the pass.
And we should probably give a shout out to Alexa Willard as well, because 3 of those baskets are hers, some tough shots.
Yeah, I mean, Bryce is getting some, you know, she's making some good plays, and finding people, but they got to finish it for her to get the assist. So credit to Willie and Wilson on those.
Well, that'll do it for Chalk Talk. But coming up next, we will keep the theme going as we go one-on-one inside Lady Bears basketball and sit down with Bryce Caleb.
Lady Bears basketball, sponsored by Shelter Insurance. Chevy dealerships of the Ozarks. Taco Bell. Doubletree. And Houlihan.
It's more than a boat. It's a one-way ticket to Lunkerville. It's a reason for a 3-day weekend. It's a memory-making machine. It's an adventure waiting to happen. It's a child's fishing 101 course. Because it's more than a boat. It's a tracker. Now get up to a $300 Bass Pro Cabela's gift card with purchase of select tracker boats.
Your voice lets him know he's safe. Shelter Insurance does the same for you. Roadside assistance provided by Road America is now included with your auto policy. We'll take care of you. Thank you. While you take care of what's most important. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
All these people, and not a nacho fry in sight.
If Taco Bell won't keep nacho fries on the menu, we win. Let's go get that cheese.
The Mexican spices, they changed you. What?
You scared of a little flavor?
Nacho fries are back. It's over.
We just getting started.
I'm Randy Diaz, mayor of Seltzer, Pennsylvania. If you love Bud Light like me, you'll love Bud Light Seltzer. It's a hard seltzer from Bud Light. It comes in 4 flavors and tastes great. Bud Light Seltzer. It's unquestionably good. If you don't love Bud Light, you'll love Bud Light Seltzer. It's not Bud Light, it's hard seltzer. It comes in 4 flavors and tastes great. Bud Light Seltzer. It's unquestionably good. Questions? Call us now.
It's now time to go one-on-one inside Lady Bears basketball presented by Bass Pro. This week, our Dan Lindblad sat down with Missouri State junior guard Bryce Caleb.
For Bryce Caleb, it hasn't always been about basketball.
My main sport was soccer. That was my first love. I loved watching Mia Hamm, and I always wanted to play in the Olympics in soccer.
Track also had its time.
Any sprint relay, any open sprint. My least favorite event was a 400. The worst event, but I mean, I was good at it, so I just wanted to help my team.
Caleb was an all-state basketball player at Sapulpa High School in Oklahoma. She also hails from an athletic family. Her parents, both coaches, and her dad is in the College Football Hall of Fame.
They didn't really push me that much. They wanted me to just go with the flow. Like, if this is your sport, then just go with it. We're not going to make you play all these different sports. But just knowing that, it was a good life lesson for me.
Eventually, the choice of sport became clear. Caleb only played 7 games in her freshman season before suffering an injury, forcing a difficult decision.
I knew I could help my team out, but just knowing I had to put my health first and just making sure that I was okay, mentally, physically. Just having those concussions was very tough. And just knowing how to do what I had to do to prepare for the next 4 years.
But the comeback has been real. Caleb has started in 85 of 88 games over the past 3 seasons. This season, she has improved her numbers in points per game, assists per game, 3-point field goals, and free throw percentage.
She can get downhill, and she's so strong, and she gets to the free throw line. She puts pressure on the defense time and time again. I just think Bryce is an all-around player, and you know, she guards the best player on the other team.
I'm more of a playmaker. I mean, I can shoot, but at the same time, just knowing that I think just me personally just need to be more assertive and aggressive on offense.
She's also growing into a leader.
Just the way she plays, offense and defensive side, I look up to her and I ask her a lot of questions, and she always helps me if she knows I'm struggling.
Bryce and I, we'll play together the rest of our careers here, So she's so good. She's so tough. She's so motivated, and she's another one of those teammates that if she's going, we're all going.
Caleb averaged 15 points per game, 3 rebounds, and 6 assists this past week, earning MVC Player of the Week honors. She also became the first Lady Bear to have 8 assists and no turnovers in a game since 2010.
I know people are going to try to collapse on me when I drive, and just knowing that, oh, Abby's on the block or Alexa's in the corner for a 3, just getting them the ball, and I think just if it's a pass coming from me, it gives them confidence that, oh, I'm going to make the next shot as well.
Always staying ready for the next task.
Any task that Mox or anyone on the coaching staff gives me, I take that to the heart, and just knowing that they rely on me, they believe in me, and whatever challenge that can be, whether that's basketball or just life in general, I want to accomplish that for them.
For Lady Bear Legacy, I'm Dan Lindblad.
Coach, as Dan said, Valley Player of the Week, so many great stats. We've given the 8 assists some attention, such a great defensive player. Just how invaluable is Bryce Caleb?
Honestly, the best thing about her is, obviously, you look at her defense and her numbers, but it's the intangibles. She just has like a God-given talent to like attract people and command, like have a commanding presence. Not everybody has that. Like you, as coaches, sometimes you try to get, mold people to be leaders and all that, but Bryce just has that. So when she speaks up, people listen. Like she just commands that, attention. So I think that's huge, and she really helps our team that way. So if we're struggling and she speaks up, people just kind of fall in line. But, obviously on the court, she does so much for us. Defensively, I mean, that's what gets underrated, I think. I mean, she's the best defensive player in the Valley, for sure, and one of the best in the country. And she guards the best team. Even when we were playing top 25 teams, she's guarding the best player on that team, even sometimes regardless of position of that player. But offensively, she's just becoming more and more of a facilitator, which is just helping our team. Like, she can get downhill, she can shoot it, and she can create. But now playing a little bit more point guard, she's finding people, and she's playing super confident that way. And I mean, Bryce she brings so much. It's hard to talk about all the great things that she brings, but I'm just excited for her to continue to lead this team and her career here, but her career beyond Missouri State as well.
And such a hard worker. I mean, we touched on the injury. She misses a year. We see some of that hard work on the court, but just the way she's battled back, what does that look like behind the scenes, just that hard work and ethic?
Yeah, I mean, she brings a toughness, and you got to have a mentally, physically tough leader. We have different leaders on the court. I mean, we got energy people, we got people that are more vocal, but she's kind of one of those kids that just leads by example. But when she needs to step up and command everybody's attention, she does that. So she just has a toughness about her, especially in games. The way that she gets to the free throw line and draws contact, or the way that she's physical on defense without fouling, it's just a toughness that she brings to our team.
Certainly going to be a big part as March gets even closer. Speaking of the future, we're going to take another break. When we come back, we'll talk about what's next for the Lady Bears. Welcome back to the show. Coach, let's talk about your next opponent. It's your first time rematching with a team, and up first is Northern Iowa. You beat the Panthers at home 80-66 back on January 12th, but still solid team, 13-7 overall, 5-4 in the conference. And a second matchup can come with a lot of differences because you kind of know each other a bit better. For
sure. I mean, I think they're 8-0 at home. So they're a good team. They shoot it better at home. They play better. They have their big post player back, Moss, who was out when we played him last time. So it's going to be definitely a tough game.
You follow that with another big game, a rematch with Drake on Sunday, which is sure to be a big one, especially when you consider Valley implications by March.
For sure. And Drake's always a big-time rivalry game for us. So, be able to get that on the road is definitely going to help us in the long run.
It's two tough ones. You talk about just, the last time you were on the road versus this one. Just what do you think maybe the team has learned between those two experiences?
Well, I think we have a little bit more maturity in just our approach to the game, our mental approach, but also our urgency and our intensity. And I think defensively we're better than we were at that time. So I'm happy we beat them back then. But I just feel like we're a better defensive team now, so it should be a better game for us.
Hoping it doesn't come down to a buzzer-beating 3 this time around?
No, please. We don't need that.
Well, it'll be a bit before the Lady Bears are back home. They'll be rematching with Southern Illinois, the Lone Valley team that beat the Lady Bears so far. That is a 3 p.m. Saturday tip-off. So that's your next opportunity to see them at home. But like we said, 2 big road games before that. But how important is it for fans, I guess, to come out on the other side of this and come support the team?
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, especially that SIU game. I believe there's some free tickets being given away. We'll talk about that more next week as we approach that. But that's going to be big. We need our 6th man to come help us out. But we also have a bus going to Iowa, so that's going to be big for us too. We have some fans that are traveling with us, so we're excited about that.
Certainly something to keep an eye out. But I don't want to make you look too far ahead. Obviously, 2 huge road games before that. We talked Northern Iowa on Friday and Drake on Sunday. It should be 2 great matchups. You mentioned the rivalry with Drake and the Bulldogs, so it should be an excellent set of games coming up this weekend. But that's going to do it for the show. Hopefully the winter weather isn't affecting anyone too bad. For Coach Mox, I'm Matt Vereen. We'll see you next week, or we will see you at the Q.